Habari ya jioni, wenzangu, na habari ya jioni Miguda. Habari gani Miguda ya jioni?
Niko salama kakangu, habari yangu ya
Mm,
jioni niko shwari
mm,
kabisa,
yeah.
napumzika tu, na pia ni kama hali ya anga
Mm,
imetanda
mm,
na ni kama kuna baridi kiasi.
mm,
Sasa jioni yangu naweza sema tu niko na jioni njema pahali
mhm.
niko.
Okay, hiyo ni mzuri. Na tuseme kwamba weekend yako ilikuwa vipi?
Naweza sema weekend yangu imekuwa vyema. Unajua tumekuwa na weekend nasema ndefu kwa sababu ni kama tulianza weekend hapo Friday. Sasa unapata nimekuwa na changamoto wakati tulipoteza kwa Madagascar katika robo finali, na pia
Mhm.
unapata hapo Jumamosi nilikuanga na makambi
Mm,
yameisha sasa,
mm.
na pia sasa tunarejelea katika orodha ya kawaida. Na hapo
Yeah.
Jumapili tulikuwa na mechi kati ya timu ya Manchester na Fulham, na pia
Mm,
tukapata, hatukuibuka washindi, tulipata
mm.
draw. Sasa nasema wikendi imekuwa vizuri, na pia katika mambo na soka ni kama nimeumia.
Okay, asante. Unajua wakati Kenya walipoteza juu ya Madagascar kwa ile mchuano, niliona ni mchezaji lakini ni wa Kenya pia, anachezea Premier League kwa timu fulani, hata jina yake sitamtaja, lakini unapata kwamba alikuwa amesherekea sana Madagascar kushinda Kenya, lakini baada ya ile picha yake kukua katika mtandao na watu wakaanza kumkemea, akarudi akaomba radhi, kwamba akasema kwamba ati labda alikuwa ako kwa akili zake timamu, alikuwa amekunywa vinywaji ambao labda, unajua hizi vinywaji ambao zinabadilisha akili, yani kitu kama pombe ama kitu kama hicho, na alisherekea. Na historia pia inasema tangu Kenya waanze kucheza, ni mtu ambaye amekuwa sana akishabikia wale ambao Wakenya wanacheza nayo. Labda tu kwa hali ya kawaida tu, unajua kwanza ni mchezaji ya kwanza tena kwa katika Premier League, na bado ndio pale bado unapata anashabikia inchi fulani. We kwako inakaa vipi kama ni mchezaji na unapata kwamba aweki inchi yake mbele?
Ingekuwa vizuri kama tungefanya uchunguzi, pengine
Mm.
tungemjua ni Mkenya lakini kutoka eneo gani, na
Ni
vile vile ni
Mkenya,
Mkenya na pia
ni
historia yake
Mkenya,
inakaaje.
ni Mkenya
Lakini
tena
unajua
ni mchezaji,
Kenya
ni
tuko kabila
mchezaji mzuri
tofauti,
sana. Mm.
nasema Kenya tuko na kabila tofauti, Kenya
Yeah.
tuko na eneo tofauti. Pengine ni
Mm.
Mkenya na pengine ameambukizwa na mambo na siasa, anza kuwa
Eh,
mchezaji na
yeah.
so unapata wakati Kenya inapoteza, wale
Mm.
ambao walikuwa hawaungi mkono rais
Mhm.
walifurahia, wakasema ya
Ehe.
kwamba rais alikuwa anachukua advantage kushabikia
Mhm.
timu ya Harambee ili apate
Mhm.
maarufu kisiasa.
Mhm.
Unapata wale ambao wanaunga mkono walifurahia sana, ndiposa nimesema nafaa kufanya uchunguzi, tumjue ni mtu aina gani, anatoka wapi, na
Mhm.
kuna uwezekano anaweza unga
Mhm.
nani mkono katika siasa, anaweza unga wale wa upinzani ama anaweza unga rais. Hii inaweza changia
Mhm.
yeye kusherekea Madagascar kufunga Kenya. Na ya pili pia
Ehe.
nitapata pengine, unapata wachezaji wetu walikuwa wanapata milioni karibu 2.5 baada ya kila
Mhm.
mechi wakifunga, na
Mhm.
wakienda draw wanapata laki tano. Sasa unapata pengine
Mm.
angependa wachezaji wetu wapate do. Sasa nasema
Ehe.
okay, wakishatolewa na Madagascar, sasa ile pesa walikuwa wanapata ili
Mm.
wasiomoke kwa hiyo njia ya kirahisi, pengine aliona wivu
Mm.
yeye, wakati alikuwa hapa Kenya angewahi
Mm.
patiwa hiyo pesa, lakini sasa wakati ashatoka au
Mhm.
wenzetu wanapata pesa. Pengine itakuwa ni wivu ya watu kisoka au
Mm.
mambo na kisiasa
Mm.
ya taifa yetu. Sasa mimi naweza jipatia mawazo kama hiyo.
Okay, asante. Unajua kitu labda mimi ningemrai, kwa sababu unajua kuna vitu ambazo watu wanatamani sana. mara mingi inakuwa ni ndoto ya kijana mdogo ambaye anajua kucheza soka ili achezee taifa lako. Unajua ile ukiwekwa katika ramani ya nchi kama kumbukumbu na historia ya nchi inaandikwa kwa sehemu fulani ama kwa tukio fulani, unapata kwamba kumbukumbu inakuwa jina lako lipo, na hiyo inakuwa gani vizuri sana, kwa sababu kila mtu ambaye anacheza soka ama yule ambaye anacheza kabumbu, unapata kwamba kitu la kwanza ni mtu ako na ile ndoto ya mimi siku moja naomba nichezee taifa langu. Ya? Unaona? Na kama we ni mchezaji na mambo kama hayo yametokea, ukafanya mambo kama hayo, na unapata kwamba bado uko na umri wako bado umri wako bado ni mdogo sana, inakupatia nafasi ya kuchezea nchi, lakini ukionyesha hivyo waziwazi, unajua inafunga zile mlango na wewe kuchezea timu la taifa. Na hata kwa Premier League tu pia kuna watu watakuwa wanakuangalia kwa jicho la tatu, unasema kama huyu mtu nchi yake, unaweza chukua kitu kama soka, unaweka siasa ndani, labda kama alikuwa amefikiria kisiasa na ameweka soka ndani ya siasa, na pia badala kupatiana wale wachezaji wenzake motisha ama kutuonea wivu kwamba labda rais alikuwa anatoa pesa kama ile pesa ambayo ya motisha, yani president alikuwa anatoa, labda alikuwa anaona wivu. Unaona kama hiyo haimjengei mazingira mzuri kwa siku zijazo, labda hatapata nafasi hata kuchezea timu la taifa.
Hapo nikubali na wewe, inaweza mwatarisha katika siku zake za usoni. Unapata maisha aishi na maisha, soka si mwisho ya maisha, niseme hivyo, ama kuchezea hizo ligi za Uingereza sio mwisho wa maisha. Maisha kuna mambo mengi, unaweza pata huko mbeleni anaweza rejelea nchi, na vile vile pengine anaweza taka kuwa rais wa FKF juu mambo kama wataangalia historia yake. Unataka kuwa rais wa FKF ama uende unataka kuwa kocha wa Harambee Stars, pengine unaweza kosa kuwa kocha, unaweza kosa kuwa rais wa FKF, ama wanaweza kukosa kukunominate ukuwe katika FIFA juu ya historia yako. Sasa kabla ufanye kitendo, lazima angalia kwamba hii kitu nataka kufanya leo hii, siku za usoni inaweza nifanyia sifa gani? Juu si ati yeye saizi kuwa ng'ambo, hiyo si mwisho wa maisha. Maisha kuna mambo mengi, pengine huenda ukataka, kwa mfano umesema aenda akataka kuwa katika squad ya Harambee Stars, pengine mambo kama haya, anaweza kuwa mchezaji hodari sana, lakini juu ya historia yake huenda akakosa katika hiyo kikosi cha Harambee Stars. Sasa kabla tufanye vitu kama watu aswa vijana, lazima tuangalie kwa makini. Ndiposa nilikuwa nakwambia wale vijana wenzetu ambao waliamua kuungana na serikali, si jambo nzuri, ingawa sisi wote tunataka serikali, lakini huwezi acha wa vijana wenzako wakiteseka alafu wewe unaungana na adui. Pengine huko siku za usoni kama watu hata kuwepo, tunaweza amua kama vijana, sisi tunataka tukue na kiongozi wetu, wanasema hapana, wewe uko na nafasi nzuri, uko na kila kitu, uko na pesa, uko na wafuasi, uko na kuga, lakini hapana, juu wewe ile wakati tulikuwa tuna struggle uliamua kuungana na, sasa tupatie huyu mwingine nafasi. Sasa ndiposa sisi kama vijana ama kila mtu popote huko katika pale popote kila mtu wako unafaa kufanya jambo lingine, lakini lazima uangalie kwa makini. Kwa mfano kama jambo ya jamaa, taifa lako inafaa kuja kwanza. Hata pale anachezea huko, okay, kama huyu jamaa anaweza furahia kama timu ya kigeni imeshinda timu yao, hata sisi hatuna uhakika na yeye, pengine anaweza kutuhasi kama timu.
Unajua kuna mambo labda tunafanya kwa sababu labda tumekuwa tumefurahi, unaifanya kwa furaha, lakini madhara yake inakuwa ni kubwa kuliko yale ambao unatema kwamba unasema mambo ya kuhasi. Unapata kwamba mtu anaweza sema huyu ni mtu ambaye labda hatuna imani na yeye, tukimpatia nafasi achezee nchi yetu, huyu ni mtu ambaye anaweza katuuza sisi. So ndio maana nasema kila wakati ukichukua jambo ukitaka kuzingua ama labda kufanya jambo ambayo inahusika sana na nchi yako, inafaa ukuwe umakinike. Na huyo kijana ambayo mimi namzungumzia ni kijana ambaye anacheza Premier League tu, Kenya yetu hii. Unapata kwamba madhara ambayo saizi yeye mwenyewe amepata, unapata kwamba katika hata mwendelezo wake kimpira, utapata kwamba kuna ile jicho la tatu wanapo watu wanamwangalia. Wacha nichukue nafasi hii Miguda kusalimia wale wenzetu ambao wako na sisi hapa katika pale wanatusalimia. Naona Gibson Kona, asante sana, sisi tupo hapa, tumerudi. Natumai weekend yako ilikuwa vizuri. Naona pia Judith anadhani na natumai pia weekend yako ilikuwa sawa sawa, na pia naona pale Brenda pia ametuambia anatuona. Natumai na pia naamini kwamba wiki yako ama weekend yako ilikuwa mzuri. Miguda, wacha leo kabla tujaenda pia, unajua ni vizuri pia kusema mambo zingine ambao labda nisikie tafsiri yako, kwa sababu nimepata kwamba mambo ya kutafsiri jambo inakuwa ni tofauti na kuambia venye watu wamepatiwa kipaji tofauti ya kutafsiri. Sasa leo nimepata jambo hapo katika Kiswahili ambayo inasema ukweli usimamiwi na mtu mwoga. We kwako hii we unaweza tafsiri aje?
Mi kwanza ningependa kusema mambo na ukweli ni mambo si rahisi kupata nayo binadamu. Juu idadi kubwa unapata hawapendi ukweli, na idadi kubwa wanapenda tu uongo, na uongo ndio watu wengi hupenda. Na hata kama ukatika jamii na wewe umeebuka kama yule msema kweli, unapata kwamba kuna maadui wengi. Na pia ni kama ukisimamia ukweli, hata sisi kama tulikuwa shuleni, yule mwalimu ambaye alikuwa anasimamia ukweli haupati wafuasi wengi. Wanafunzi wanalega tu kwa wale wanafunzi ambao wako na uongo. Wale wa ukweli ni kama wanapata maarufu, na vile vile mtu wa ukweli si mtu ambaye anapenda. Lakini jambo moja ningependa kusema, kama wewe ni mtu wa ukweli, kuna siku hao watu watahitaji mtu wa kusema ukweli na watakutafuta. Na kuna siku ambayo kweli itatakikana nchini na wataenda kwako. Sasa ni kama unasema I'm a truthful woman. Yule mwanamke ambaye anasema ukweli, si rahisi upate mwanamke anasema ukweli ako na yule bwana. Watu wengi wanapenda uongo. Sasa kwa nini nimesema jambo kama hiyo? Unapata wakati tulikuwa tunataka yule jasiri wa kuamulia matokeo ya uchaguzi wa rais unapata katika mahakama yetu, tulitafuta aliyekuwa jaji mkuu David Maraga. Alisimama na ukweli na akasema kulingana na vile watu wamezungumza mahakamani na kulingana na matokeo, ni kama kuna vile ile kituo cha IBC haikufanya vile inatakikana na sheria. Sasa wakati huu baadaye watu wanasema huyu jamaa mwenye alisema ukweli, tukimpatia kiti ya rais anaweza kuwa mtu mzuri. Sasa nasema wakati huo pengine alikosea watu wengi walimchukia na kusema ukweli. Sasa mambo na ukweli kuna wakati za kusaidia, na vile vile si rahisi upate mtu muoga asimama na ukweli. Juu wakati unasimama na ukweli kuna vile unalenga watu wengi. Hata kwa nyumba unapata kama wewe ni yule mwanamke ambaye anasimama na ukweli, mtu wa ukweli, kuna vile bwanako ako na mambo zake, huenda ni kama mnaweza kupana juu ya ukweli yako. Sasa ni tu unataka tu yule mtu jasiri vile wamesema hapo, na yule mtu mwenye anaamini kile anasema na kuna uhakika ya kwamba matokeo baadaye hata kama hazitanisaidia ama hazitanisaidia watu wengine, lakini nimesimamia ukweli, maybe baadhi ya jamii ama baadhi ya watu wengine. Sasa unapata kuna faida, ingawa mtu wale wajasiri wanaweza sema kweli, lakini baadaye unapata kuna faida. Kuna siku na sisi vile vile kama tulikuwa shuleni tulikuwa tunafundishwa kitu moja ya kwamba wakati wote umepatiwa nafasi ya kuzungumza ama wakati wote umepatiwa nafasi ya kuamulia watu kitu mahakamani popote, jaribu kusema ukweli. Hata wakati mtu anakuja kwa ofisi yako, jaribu kuwa mtu wa ukweli, kwa sababu kuna siku watahitaji msema ukweli. Wanasema hapana, kama unataka kitu ya ukweli tafuteni Miguda, lakini kuna kenye lazima tujue ya kwamba hata kama watu hawapendi ukweli, lakini ukweli kuna faida yake.
Okay, sawa. Na pia naona moto wa Bolokole, ndugu yetu kutoka kule Kongo ashafika. Atatuelezea Kinshasa vipi. Na pia kuna wakati ambao wanasema kwamba ukweli ni fimbo ya mwovu. Unaona kwamba ukiwa unasema ukweli inakuwa ni fimbo ambao ni mwovu, na kila mara unapata kwamba mtu anasema kwamba mimi leo ndasema ukweli hata kama mtaniua au niue. Mbona watu wakuwa wakisema kwamba wanataka kusema ukweli, jambo ambalo inafuata ni kuua. Moto wa Bombokole kutoka Kongo, hebu tuambie bana, mbona mtu anasema leo mimi I will say the truth will set me free but you can kill me? Why is it so?
Asante Jeli.
Okay,
Brother, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Nimekutoka kule Goma. Mambo iko fresh. Mambo iko very iko sawa.
Okay, asante.
So Balokole ni moto wa Balokole. Balokole yamaanisha the saved one.
Okay.
So nimesikia ukiuliza swali la utata na utani. Si utani, utata kweli. Why people always associate themselves with nikisema ukweli, nitasema ukweli, mkitaka kuniua mniue. It's the same as vile wanasemaga mimi naogopa tu Mungu na uji moto. When you hear people saying ninaogopa, nasikia tu wakiassociate na uji. Sijui ni nini uji iliwafanya. So that is something which comes with that. Watu wanapenda kusema. I think is what is in people. Kwanza politicians. Politicians, some of them they like to lie and they say that wanasema ukweli, mkitaka kumkujia mkujie. Wanataka tu kuweka tu ile stance ya na hakuna mtu anamkujia, ni tu ile ya kutuonyesha ati anakujia, but there is nothing. So how are you? How is everything?
Everything is okay. We just want to have a conversation here for almost an hour or so, and we are doing the recap, especially what happened during the weekend. And our main focus today is going to be on the members of parliament who were hosted by Babu, that is including the Senator Sifuna and other members of parliament. And among other things that they spoke about corruption. They also spoke about, I saw they were carrying in a white handkerchief, and I was reading somewhere, I don't know how true it is, that the white handkerchief, actually the member of parliament for Hamisi, he gave like around 100,000 to buy this handkerchief so that it should be pray over. So I don't know what ni kuchafisha nyota ama sijui, I don't know what it comes with, but there's that white handkerchief, but and
kusafisha nyota.
I don't know, saa zingine it's not very sometimes I don't know how to discuss about it, but sometimes we have to be very real on issues that we are talking about governance, and when we're talking about governance and you're the member of parliament, there is a corruption. What should you do? Because prayers can move mountain. Yes, it says that the prayers can move mountain, and we believe in prayers.
So but, are you talking about the meeting in the church, or there was a separate
and no, it's a meeting, because and this is where sometimes we get it wrong for both the people who are supporting government and those who are in opposition, especially when it comes to church. One of the things that is that church has been a place whereby it is very, very, very easy to get a crowd of people. Yeah, that is one. It is quite much very easy, and you don't facilitate them, because every Sunday we will be attending the church. Yeah. But at the same time, if you look at very keenly, you find that the things that should be discussed in parliament are being brought into the pulpit.
And so most of the churches you check, most of these churches you look at them, they are Protestant churches. And the churches who are always practicing what do they call that? Protestant churches. You know, you cannot go to a Catholic church and do that. I'm very sure in a mass. In a mass, even I think the only person, if it's even hard for a president to be given a time, maybe when they are doing coronation and they give set aside. And you see when they are doing the coronation of their bishop, when do the readers talk? They talk to the near tail end of the ceremony. They cannot come there and talk. So I think it's very unfortunate. Unajua in ile kanisa ya Ororo, do you remember they are the ones who always touch somebody and tell guzwa na Ororo? So it's very unfortunate that church has become a conduit of where politics can be talked at. And you know, so mostly the people who are there are women. Women, you know, they target women so much because women go to churches, and women they are easy to believe. They can believe you very easy than men. You know, men, they take a long time before they believe in anything that you say.
Okay, now my question before I bring in Miguda, I want to give you this scenario. We saw the president came out during the PG for ODM and not even the conference that was there in Homa Bay about the devolution. He came out and talked about the corruption publicly. Yeah. Then again in the PG, he repeated the same thing to the public. Now, I want also to give this scenario. We have these members of parliament who are talking, and they're talking about corruption. At some time, you can see even where they're pointing where the corruption is from. Yeah, if you could say. So, what is the difference? Because like they have the legislation powers. They can initiate impeachment, and they're coming and telling the public that this is so and so is corrupt. Yeah. And the president also is telling them. So what is the difference between them and the president? If you can, because all of them have a role to play. They've been given the powers on how to deal with the corruption, but they still come to the public and tell them, okay, so and so is corrupt. President is telling you during the PG and during the convention, he's telling that there are those who are extorting. Yeah. And the members of parliament, when they are in the church, they talk about the corruption, telling the church people. What do they want them to do? What is the
problem? The problem actually is the citizens.
Yeah.
Because you are supposed to tell them off and tell them, don't come tell us what you're trying to tell us. Because all you're telling us is a load of crap. You should go and do your registration. If you see that the president told you wrong things, and you think the president is corrupt, just go and impeach him. You have the mechanism to do so. How can you come and tell now? What will citizen in JCM or the citizens in Kawangware or the Bijiji of Kasipul Kabon and the villages of their Makoyo do when you come and tell them that we want to tell you about corruption within the executive? What do you expect us to do with that information? You have the powers to do. We don't have powers to impeach the president. You're the ones who have the power. As we have power after 5 years, you're the ones who have the power to do it right now, direct. If you feel you are infringed, just impeach him. If the president feels that the MPs are not doing the right according to him, he can veto the Chief Justice so that they can be able to dissolve the parliament and we go for an election. He can say we are going to call another election. So let them not treat us to this drama and theory. We are used to these drama festivals by MPs and legislature and executive, and we are tired as a people. This I don't know, and we don't see them anybody winning at the drama at the finals of these drama festivals, because we are always hosted to these drama festivals of legislature and executive, and I have never seen any winner coming out of that. We have never seen them advancing to the final. So I ask, why do you want to treat us to this theater all the time? We are tired of theater and rhetorics from these guys. Let them work. If they are unable to work, just let them keep quiet, eat the money they are eating. We meet at the ballot and we take them all home, because they make me even sick. They make me angry all the time they open their mouth.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me invite Miguda, you the same scenario, because we are seeing the members of parliament and they have the leverage, especially in parliament. The parliament give them ways in which, if they know that somebody is corrupt, yeah, they have, for instance, if they have any evidence against the president, maybe the president is corrupt, or if they do have the mechanism in which they can initiate impeachment, what was done to Rigathi Gachagua, the way they felt. But now you find that now people have come to worship, yeah, and this is now where you tell the people now this so and so is corrupt, but people already know that due to what is happening, people have already know that there was some money that was lost in the e-citizen. People know very well that when you look at there's some hospitals that are closing down just because you know, the Shah has not paid them. They know that we people have that. There's so many things that people know that are happening, especially in terms of corruption. But now you are in the legislative assembly. You have ways in which you can deal with this, but you still come and tell us that, okay, so and so. That is the legislatures now. Then we have also the president, who also confesses that he consumed the raw messages. I mean, the raw intelligence, you know, so he knows everything that is happening. Yeah, you know, he knows everything that is happening. What is making them, or what is shying them away from taking actions according to the constitution or the powers that have been given to them by the constitution? Migoda? Migoda, can you unmute?
Okay. I'm saying, first, you find out that I dive into your question. Moto Abalokole, as just said in Catholic, they are not welcomed. Even if you want to confirm that, even in SDA, they are not welcome. You can't have the entire service just for politicians. And they know very well that's why they don't come to SDS. If you come there, you will sit down, you will to someone, and we will not even give you a chance to greet the people. We just say, okay, so and so is the congregation, full stop. Because we don't have any, in our program, there's no service for politicians. And that's why they never come. So even right now, I told that we have just concluded our camp meetings. I never saw any. There was a time we were having Governor Obado. He came, he sat down. We said he's there in the crowds, but he never spoke. No one gave him the microphone to speak. So that's how it should be. And it should be that way. The church should not be room for politics. So it depends the church are you going. But for our church, there's no politics, and we don't welcome them. We will not welcome them. There's nothing like that in our doctrine. From time memorial until the kingdom of God comes, there will be no politicians in our churches. So I want to just talk about the issue of corruption. When you talk about corruption, I think people have talked time without number, particularly hitting at the president. We talk about the issue of Shah, and we have said the Shah itself, from the NHIF, there was corruption, and people have been accusing William Ruto. Even the issue of new funding model, there is corruption. People have been accusing William Ruto. So the corruption has been, William Ruto has been the high priest of corruption in this country. But you find out he has been coming out to defend himself. That, okay, based on your allegations, Shah is working. Based on your allegation, we have a new funding model. We can't use it for. So he has been trying to complement corruption in that way. And also he has said corruption is to be budgeted in this country. But you find out when these lawmakers are being hit that you are corrupt too. I'm not the only person who is corrupt. All of us are corrupt, including you people. They, oh, no, we are not. We are the ones corrupt. So who is who? And they were saying, let him start by himself. So it's like we are corrupt, all of us, but there's someone who is more corrupt than us. And the person who is more corrupt than us is accusing us. So even if you decide now to impeach him, and he might dissolve the parliament before you impeach him, because he might go ahead to dissolve you people before you impeach him. But I don't see him being impeached or the parliament being dissolved, because there are things that are standing out. They are allies of William Ruto, that parliament. You know, if you dissolve the parliament, everybody's going home, including the speaker. And these members of parliament, they can go home and fight you at home. And it can be dangerous when they're fighting you at home. So they better fight you inside parliament where you can contain them, you can compromise them, other than fighting you outside parliament. So I think that's why the issue of dissolve parliament we will not discuss. And that's why even Uhuru Kenyatta, when he was advised to dissolve parliament by that time, he never dissolved parliament because of the consequences. And the rest of parliament right now,
Hello, Miguda. Okay, I think he has a problem. And thank you, Peter, for joining us. And we are just having a conversation about the politics, and especially now when it's taken into the churches, because now I believe that even some of these churches that have given the politician platform to take over, or to give them more speeches than sermon, for what people are like a political arena, you know. And they're the people now, I would say, that they're encouraging the corruption, because when you're giving them platform to talk about corruption, yet the constitution also has given them power on how to deal with such like cases, especially when you talk about the issue of parliament. The whole legislation, the legislature is being accused of extorting money, especially, you know, and this is done through the head of state. And if they have this, and they still come to you to say that so and so we need, for example, let me just be very very categorical now, talk about, if it is, I read it, I don't know how true it is, but there was this money that was given to buy handkerchief, the white handkerchief, so that it can fight corruption in the parliament. How is that one fighting corruption? How? Maybe somebody can tell me. I don't know how that, if you give this handkerchief, everybody tie them in their hand, and you go to the corruption. How can it fight corruption?
okay, if I may,
Yeah, go ahead before Joseph comes in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I just want to tell you, there are things that are not realistic. I understand that we are diverse, and people are also having different belief, but there are some realist things that you can't ignore, because like when people were dying in Shakahola, people said that they went to church to be healed, they went to church to go to heaven. But in the real sense, you can't just go to heaven that way, or there's no way someone can just go to church to heal you, or someone can go to church so that you can stop being crippled. And we have been and perform those miracles there so that they can be healed. But that one aside, it depends on someone's faith. But people have lost their lives because of such things. That's why we are saying that sometimes, even if it's a matter of faith or belief, you need to be a little bit realistic. And then when people were being given that handkerchief, they believe that that handkerchief, it should be taken to parliament, taken to executive, taken to judiciary, so that by them working that handkerchief on their pockets, now that one we are not going to be corrupt. Really, to me, I respect people's opinion, I respect people's faith, I respect people's belief, I respect people's church. But as for me, I don't think just by carrying a handkerchief gonna cleanse the entire country. To me, that is very wrong. And as a leader, you know that is wrong. You know, there is no way the handkerchief can fight corruption. They were saying, if you put it in your pocket and you have stolen our money, the money will disappear. Go disappear where? How can the money disappear? So there are some things that as a leader, you need to you don't need to just go with the wave because you want the votes of the congregants. Now, because the congregants believe in their pastor, the congregants believe in the handkerchief, so you want to align with their thoughts that, okay, like they were saying, I'll be worshiping you people here, I'll be coming here. So like by saying so, they are going to embrace you, that you believe in their pastor, you believe in their handkerchief, you believe their miracles. But these things are not real. Some of them are not real, because if you want to know that they're not real, just try to walk one day in those churches, and also try to do whatever they're doing. Then you come back. Those things, some don't work, and but not that I'm opposed to the pastor or whatever. And I respect people, because people are different. The way you believe in God is the way I believe in God. The way you believe in your pastor is the way I believe in my pastor. So I respect that one. Another issue, you talked about the issue of the painful part of it is our leaders. They are saying, but we know very well there are things that have been structured, like the EACC, to fight corruption. If we could be fighting corruption through handkerchief, we could have not having people things like EACC. If we could be fighting corruption through handkerchief, there could be no judiciary. Why is there judiciary to take people corrupt? And these things are very wrong, because people are telling you that, like, there are some people just want people to believe things which are not real. They want people to believe in things that are like abracadabra, whereby things that are not there, and people want to live that way. No, it can't happen, because why do you lie to congregants in church, and you are lying? You know very well that handkerchief, and if they cannot fight corruption, then you are saying, okay, anybody, I'm even giving out my money so that you can purchase money. If you take to parliament, you take to Wetangola, you take to William Ruto. How? So leaders sometimes, even if it's a matter of looking for votes, try to be a little bit serious. Try to be a little bit logic, whereby you if you don't need to go to church. In church and in funeral, where they have free subscribers, because people like the funeral we attended the other Sunday, I told you, we went there willingly, and we were many, and no one paid us. You just want to go and see how was it possible that 28 people had to die in a road accident, and we went there and we witnessed the 23 coffins. So that is something like, if you're around, you must go. So we went there, you were never paid, so they
Okay, I think
take advantage of our presence
Miguda, can you
there,
check your
and they start their politics. Similarly,
okay. Go ahead.
okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, but your mic keep on freezing.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry for that. I'm saying, similarly, they're taking advantage of the church, whereby, because like me, I must worship on Saturday. So if you come to my church, you will find me there. You will not mobilize me. You will not pay me to come. And so my presence there, you're taking advantage of my process. Like when we had such funeral, we have to attend. So you are taking advantage of our presence. Then you are lying to us. Like, they told us that when such tragedy happens, there's something good coming to your region. And some of these things are just myths and misconception. When people have died, is there anything good is going to come? Oh, okay. And now we are in church, we are being told, okay, tutakupaka na mafuta, alafu wenye wakikuja wapake maji. So hii siasa, we are playing too far. And politics, they are to an extent of this is what we call blasphemy. They are mocking God because they are politicians. And even these people who are on pulpit, who are talking absurdly, they don't mean what they are saying, and they don't say exactly what they mean in their private life, how they live. Some of them even don't believe in God. So generally, I was saying, sometimes even as leaders of this country, we need to be a little bit realist and a little bit logic, whereby we tell our citizens or audience the things that are actual, not the fictions, not the abracadabra games.
Okay, Miguda, thank you so much. And you know, I don't think like when you are talking about maybe disrespecting, it's not disrespecting, but we have to separate the reality and the reality and the real issues. And this is where I have a problem, especially even for the young people, the young members of parliament. Sometimes they have to be issue based, because I don't believe as a person, because like is your character trait, especially when somebody decides, maybe you are in the treasury and you've just decided maybe to steal money in any organization. You decided to steal money. It means that is something that it is in you, it is inbuilt. The prayers cannot take it away, you know. And for you to not to do that, you have to respect yourself and believe that the money that is I'm not given to me is valueless, you know. So, and to the legislatures, and you've been given that power to legislate in the house on how you can bring in bills that can eradicate what is wrong, you know. But you still say that, okay, this handkerchief, this is going to do. So even though you might be having a political differences, but to me, if I sit down and analyze the issue of handkerchief, the way they talked about it yesterday, or any member who talked about it, I think they were not very truthful to Kenyan people. They were just playing to the gallery, and they were playing to maybe to get more subscribers, but that's not how it should be. You should come with real issues. And if you know that this is what is happening, why can't you bring impeachment? Because it was very easy to bring impeachment against Rigathi Gachagua. What is making you? Because the Constitution allows you to do that. The Constitution does not allow you to get the handkerchief and tie and put in your pocket and say the money. No, that was the Constitution does not say that as a member of parliament. You can initiate impeachment if you have concrete evidence that this is what is happening. Thank you. Maybe Joseph, if you have something to add on that.
I see handkerchief has become a very serious topic in this program. I can see Gypsy Corner saying, saying that.
Do you know the reason why? Do you know the reason why we have to talk about it? Just remember how many money, if you look at what was lost in e-Citizen, how much was it?
Too much.
Too much. So tell me, how can handkerchief find the e-Citizen? How do you put? You have to ask, is that platform, first of all, safe? And what mechanism or what legislation did you pass, especially when this one came, on how to protect the transaction of the Kenyans who will be paying it, and who is monitoring it? So you have to put the handkerchief there and prayers, really.
I see you're very angry with the handkerchief, Brother Benson.
Yeah.
and I know today I will not touch the word handkerchief again. That will be my last about handkerchief. So what I will say about that is we have very clueless members of parliament. And let no member of parliament come and tell you that when they were passing shy, there is nothing they could have done because the majority are supporting the government. That is a lie to you, and it's a lie to me, and it's a lie to everybody. If they wanted, they could have disrupted that proceeding.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen times that they have disrupted the proceedings. They could have disrupted that proceeding, and they could have gone further and still continue to disrupt the proceedings till that bill could have not passed. Or do you know how much money we used for the SHA system?
It was 104 what?
Billion.
Yeah, 104
Do you
billion.
know 104 billion is how much? How many roads? 104 billion is how many level 5 hospitals? 104 is how many classrooms can be built with 104 billion? How many students can go to school with 104 billion? And how many vulnerable families can be able to be removed from that vulnerability by 104 billion? But when we hear them in the newspaper, we just thumb them as numbers. But brother, this is money. Yeah. This is money that has been used for this stupid thing called SHA. Why did we have to immigrate a system when we already had one system? They said the problem with NHIF was what? It was corruption. Why could they not clear corruption within NHIF? NHIF was a system. They could have just cleaned out. Instead of bringing a new system, they could have cleaned out what was there. Why did we come up with something called Hustler Fund? Do you know how much money was removed by Hustler Fund?
That's a lot of money.
And how much money that they have, the money, we have not been told about that money, where the citizen refund the money, where it went. Were we told where the money came from for Hustler Fund? We were not told. We were not told even about this one you're talking about here, the one you just talked about e-citizen.
Yeah.
How much money have they collected from us? Do you know initially that service was supposed to be free, but they put a charge of 50 shillings on everybody in each and everything that you're supposed to be doing in the services that you're given. When you go and take a good conduct certificate, you are adding 50 shillings for services. And initially that one is supposed to be 1,000. So you go and take a passport. They even removed 32 pages. Now they're saying is 48 pages. They say that's supposed to be 6,050. What is the 50 for? How much people have given that 50 bob, Brother Benson? How many people have given that 50 bob? You had even they had come with a very stupid idea of asking people that when you lose your ID, you ask 1,000 bob. When you want to register your ID, you go, I think, with 1,000 bob. I think 2,000. Where does this money go to? Because all the time we are hearing that the country is broke, the country does not have money. We are being taxed even fuel levy. They added fuel levy. And still our roads are pathetic, brother. Have you ever seen the roads in Nairobi? They are not even marked. Go and check the roads that we are passing through. Most of them are not even marked. And we still say that accidents are not going to still happen. Some roads, a road we were lied to, called the Rakanidi Bridge, that it was going to be built. What has happened? We have had initiatives of even people like Eric Omondi here, a very courageous person, going to build bridges for kids who are crossing using a pipe, brother.
I saw.
And you still have leaders. I've seen right now Amazon King coming telling us that we need to ask for developments. From who? Who are we supposed to ask the development from? Yeah. Where do you sit as a person? You are a speaker, for heaven's sake, of the Senate. You cannot even tell the people. You are the one who is near to Ruto. Who is near to Ruto? The person you're telling to ask for a development, or you who is near Ruto? Who can be asking for development easier? Your people in Kilifi are still crying there, brother. They don't have roads. In so many places, Wajir everywhere. People are languishing in poverty. We can see people in Turkana, they are still staying in huts. Imagine we're in the 21st century, Brother Benson. Somebody is staying in a hut.
Leave about that. There are so many things that actually, if we start to talk about, especially when you look at our country, there are so many things that we can point out. And sometimes, and sometimes, like as much as sometimes we put blame, especially on the current administration, but I think some of the things that have happened have also been aided by the people, the members in opposition, because let's take, for example, like now even what we have with the broad-based government, and one of the pillars of broad-based government, in the initial stages, the broad-based government was supposed to bring peace and tranquility in the country, because like it was believed that by then the country was not peaceful. Yeah, and that was the road to which we ride on, or we rode on, that okay, this is where we are going to have peace. Then that is that. Then after that, it was that we were going to stabilize the government, because like it was unstable, so we had to come in, But now, what repercussion does it come with? Ever since the broad-based government came into place, if you talk about the basic needs, whereby you can take data through Kenyans by just asking them questions. People are still saying that it's not very easy on them, especially cost of living. It's not very easy on them, you know.
Brother,
Yeah.
Let me tell you, they came and said that Kenya was not at peace,
Yeah.
and that the government was unstable.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm not going to talk about other issues. I'm going to talk about what Gen Z were asking for, because that is the latest. That was the latest. Gen Z went to the streets, and they were not fighting against each other. You did not see any Kenyan fighting against another Kenyan. They were telling the members of parliament clearly that we don't want you to pass that finance bill because of the heavy burden they were feeling in their pockets. So somebody coming telling us that there was no peace, that one is a big lie, because the peace was there. Kenyans were not fighting amongst themselves. Kenyans were telling the politicians that you should know we voted for you to go and do what the citizens want you to do. Okay, you say the government they say the government was not stable. Why was the government not stable? People are complaining about ministers and cabinet secretaries, brother, wearing belts of 1 million, shoes of I don't know how much, suits of I don't know how much, and the opulence that was in the ministries, and how they were using money buying luxury cars. I think Kenya Kenyan ministers are the ones who have very luxurious cars, brother. In the whole of Africa, the ministers, if you check them, Kenya, they are leading with the ministers who have luxurious cars. So what was the Gen Z telling them? The Gen Z was asking them, we need for you to chase these guys. They don't know the work that they are doing there. The work that took them there, they have just gone there to print money and make money. So I don't see anywhere the government was unstable. The Gen Z told Ruto, we need you to sack these people. So what did Ruto go ahead and do? Ruto sacked them. After he sacked them, what did he do? He brought in back the people who are complaining about. It's the people he brought in back. And then he says that my government was being unstabilized by thugs. How will you come and tell Kenyans that we are thugs? You know, even he called Kenyan thugs. How can you come and tell us that we are stabilizing your government and you don't want to listen to what we are telling you? He went on live television and told a news presenter, ukipata serikali yako utafanya vile unataka. I've never had a president telling a person like that. How can you tell a whole Kenyan that when you get your own government, you'll do what you do? So it means you are doing what you want, not what we voted for you to do. You came up with an agenda and you came up with a manifesto. If I ask you about the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, what can you tell me has happened in the Kenya Kwanza manifesto that you can see? Because he came and lied to us that he's coming to remove dynasties, and the dynasties were the ones who are making money. They were making money and don't caring about people. So how will you come and convince me that now that the broad base will come and cure everything? Food is still the same price. Bread, go and check the bread. The bread we were buying is still 70 shillings. Did I see the bread going to 50? Fuel is still up there. Go and check out the price of unga. It is going up. I heard even the sugar now is not even buyable. It is coming to 190. So I don't think there is anything they are telling us. There is nothing they can tell us to hear.
Yeah, and you know, this one, not even with the administration, even the opposition themselves, some of the leaders in opposition, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Even in a place where democracy works, you know, you have to play your role, you know, and even talking about the merger itself in a working democracy, you know, each and every person has to play their role, because if you play their role, then that's why we bring in the checks and balances is everywhere, you know. But that's how our politics is. But now, Joseph, let's now get into politics, because that is what we usually do. We were just pointing out the issue that especially the members of parliament who went to the church yesterday, and some of the pronouncements that they made, but which I felt, especially the issue of handkerchief, was it did not make sense to me. Maybe one time, if I get an opportunity to have an interview with one of them, he will make and understand, because like sometimes sometimes somebody has to convince you. But when it comes to fighting corruption, I don't think that is the best way to do it. It will not work. It will not work. Now, let's now look at the politics part of it. And the politics part of it is, now we have the younger, they call themselves the younger MPs, the younger generation that are coming. And yesterday they were talking, and they seems like giving Kenyan hope that it's going to be well. People keep on talking of a third force, but to me, due to politics, especially, I want to narrow it to the ODM with his history. When the issues that are happening, whereby the Secretary General of a party can take a different stand with the leader of a party, and for almost 6 months, if to say so, without any action happening, that one to me at least gives me, it sent for me a red flag. And I say that there's a political in the making, because based on the history of ODM, on how if you go against the party, what usually happens, you will be expelled, especially if you're holding a position. Two, if you look at the members of parliament, the young people who are there, and you relate it to the political of Kenya, especially of what they want to do, because like they will going against the political establishment, or the politicians who have been in political playfield for the longest time. And you know that finance is involved. To me, I think there must be somebody behind this. That is one, somebody's on. Two, it is in politics, it's either there's somebody that is being equalized, balancing off. Somebody is being balanced off in politics.
Yes, and I want to add on what you're saying. In politics, there is only one constant in politics. People say that there is two variables in politics. There's betrayal and there's interest. But what I say, for me, there is one constant, which is money. Money is the constant in all politics. Because even whether you are good or you are bad, money is a factor in politics. So for the question you asked before about ODM, I think ODM is going to come guns blazing. And I'm foreseeing a place where Sifuna and Babu are going to be de-whipped from the party positions. Babu, I know he does not have a party position. He has a party position? I don't think.
No.
So I think Senator Sifuna will be de-whipped of his Secretary General position. And they are going to be left alone in the world.
No.
Another thing that I'm foreseeing, when you ask about if there is somebody who has a hand in this, obviously and automatically there's a person who is always behind this and is playing the politics. There's somebody who is trying to be not eliminated as such to be killed, but to be eliminated politically. There's somebody who is trying to be finished politically. And I think money has changed hands. Not only in parliament, I think the money has changed hands out of parliament. And not only for the that what we are calling the third force, also in all the forces, even in the first force, the one you are saying, the two forces that are raising against each other, the united opposition and the government. So I think money is changing hands, and you see some terrible shifts that will happen. Some shifts are going to happen even within the government in the coming few months. You see shifts in both sides, even the united opposition. You see people who are merging, and others you thought they are not going to merging, and others who you thought they are not going to leave, they are leaving.
Okay, let me Miguda, let me ask you, because like There's also something that Gibson Connor has also raised about the ageism, and the reason that is making us believe that the younger people are the people who might bring transformation based on how they're talking. But we've always seen younger people who came to parliament, at some point they've not done so well. I've not done so well, especially in politics. They ended up doing opposite of their expectation. Just to mention, you remember when Muhammad Ali used to be the darling of the people, and people were very happy when Muhammad Ali joined the parliament, and they knew that this is one guy who is going to bring transformation of young people in parliament. But that one was kind of like very opposite. So when you look at the age, as the age have something to do with the transformation, even fighting corruption. That is one. Secondly, when you look at these young people who are doing this and bearing in mind the kind of the nature of politics that we have in our country, which is usually money has always been the factor that you have for you to run a successive, or for you to oppose successfully, you have to have that financial base. Do you see that the Babu Owino and the likes of Kenya Moja are just, that is their ideology without any other politician behind it, the big politician or the big names of politicians behind it?
First, I want to state that, like, if Sifuna was speaking his mind without any consultation with the party leader, Sifuna could have been kicked out. If Sifuna could have been speaking his own mind, just like he was independent, there's nothing that can bar ODM to kick him. He will even be kicked out by the sweepers or the gatekeepers or the watchmen in that party. That one is a fact. Babu had shown that he had part ways with the party leader earlier. That's why Babu was denied the Public Account Committee chair. Babu was denied the party positions when he was even wanted to be the chairperson. Babu was denied the opportunity to become the CS. So they'll block you. And Sifuna, I think Sifuna might be having a consultation with the party leader, because the ODM, you know that the party leader is the law, and we could even see signs, because even people like Junet could have talked. You know, when Junet talked about Babu in Homa Bay, that tutakimbiza wewe kwa hii town, ukijaribu kuridhi baba tutakimbiza wewe kwa hii town. So to me, there are always some intents that we can receive, that if at all there is a different opinion, you could be kicked out. Sifuna is having a consultation or a concurrence opinion with Raila Odinga. They are having consultation. That's why he has stayed for long. Because in which ODM, whereby SG can speak a different language with the party leader for that quite long, which ODM? Is that ODM? That is not ODM.
Yeah.
ODM Babu is the law. So the issue of the young people. First, I want to say that it is true that at first point, when the young people are coming to parliament, there seems to be hope, or there seems to be that the change factor. But with time, they adopt the behaviors of the old guards as they age in politics. I can say maybe before they come to parliament, they do pretend they're not themselves. Now, when they got into parliament, now themselves, now they reveal who they are. Now that power reveals who they are. And we end up that, okay, they were no better than the people who were there before. There are only some few you can find them who are consistent, but a good number can never be consistent. So it maybe could be pretense, or maybe they haven't tested power. So out of power, you find out that again you can change. But also in that parliament, there are people who went there not because of money. That's why I want to say that in politics, even if money is constant, but you find out there were people in that parliament who were there when before Ruto purchased the Lexus. There were people already with that Lexus in that parliament.
Yep.
the young people. So you find there are people who already had money. So parliament has not changed them. In fact, they have just gone to parliament but already they had that money. That money is not money is not a problem to them. There are some lawmakers who are wealthier than the president. Actually, they have things before president access them. The cars they were driving, the kind of houses they were living before president constructed that or renovate that one of Kilgoris. The one is now using of Kilgoris. There are people having a good life. So,
but now, go ahead.
Just to finish, you also talked about the issue of now I think you have lost my thought, but I'm just saying the people the people who came to parliament. It's not that everybody has gone to parliament to steal or to be corrupt.
Yeah.
People who are also decided to work for the people, and they are working.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you that we are not saying that even the younger people who have gone to parliament or maybe they are corrupt or not. No, that is not what you're saying. But we are talking about the ageism, whereby we usually substitute everything that we do and say that age. And because we are young people, we are the people who are going to bring this change. But now, and when that age that we are running on, especially goes to the parliament, sometimes we find they do the contrary. You are not even thinking outside the old guard if you say you are going with that ageism.
Yeah, I agree with you. But my principle is a change is as good as a rest. And even if you like now, if you have had someone for 3 terms as an lawmaker, MP, then it is also it is prudent to reshuffle.
Yeah.
At least try something new. A change is as good as a rest. So we don't need to stick to someone for 25 years. There are members of parliament. There are people in this country who have served 30 years in parliament as MPs. 30 years. But there are people who came the other day, a second term MP, a one term MP, but they have double what this 30 guy has done in his constituency. That's why we say, okay, sometimes a change is as good as a rest. Maybe like look at what happened in Mumias. Let me give you some citation. In Mumias, Washali was there, I think maybe 15. But when Salasia came, Salasia has done more than what Washali did in 15 years. Look at someone like Olaga Olwach has been there for 25 years because he said that is his home. So he has been there for 25 years. And you'll find out people like Ndindi, second term MP, Babu, second term MP, but they've been ranked among the best.
Yeah.
So there are people who are like there are people who look at TJ Kajwa. He's now going to do his 4th term, but we can't see anything in Waraka constituency. So those are just some that I'm trying to give you. Look at the one who is making noise on Twitter. I don't want to mention his name. I think you know him. You go there. Yeah, there's nothing. So we need to give space to change. Even if you are bringing old guard, you can bring an old guard who can work. But also, but so there's an issue here. Not that we hate old people, or because all of us are heading there by the grace of God. That's where we are all going. So we can't say being age is something wrong. No, it is part of life. So there are some job that require energy. There's some job that require synergy and passion. Like if you are a member of parliament, you need to be in constituency. For those who are coming outside Nairobi, you need to be in constituency at home sometimes. You need to coordinate the CDF manager. You need to be in parliament to make laws. You need to be in committees. You need to be oversighting the president, representation, debate, go. So it needs someone who is healthy, someone who is having a lot of energy, synergy, someone who's having passion for leadership, because you are too much busy. But someone who is at least maybe 80 years or 70, there are things you can do. 75, there are things you can do in society, or there are roles you can do. But a legislature,
Look, let
Somewhat.
me talking about that before you conclude, Miguda. I think you can check in our neighboring country, Uganda, whereby 86-year-old father or a grandfather is running to become a legislator. So in that scenario, what can you say? Do you see it happening in our country anytime soon?
I don't know our country it can't happen, because as if you want to compare, as we are a bit ahead. I've told you, me I've been residing in Tanzania. I understand the Tanzania people. We are much ahead in terms of civilization, very much ahead. If you are much ahead of Tanzania, what about Uganda? Uganda is still behind in terms of many things. There are threats, intimidation. They don't have freedom of expression. They are living on their knees. To them, poverty is okay. To them, not going to school is something very much okay. You don't need to go to school. You are okay. If I don't go to school, I'm just okay. Sisi ni watu wastaarabu, ujamaa, tuko na umoja, tunakaa kwa village. There is nothing wrong with it. It's very comfortable to not to go to school in those countries. It's very comfortable not to work in those countries, because they tell you, okay, we have food, but that's how they are. And even their neighboring people, they are copying their culture. But you understand, Kenya is very much ahead of them in terms of civilization. That's why we can't have such legislation in the parliament. What I want to say is this, before I conclude, is that, just like me, there are things which I did when I was in primary. There are things which I did in high school. And Makubura has just come here. Makubura can confirm to you. There are things I did in primary. I never repeated them in high school. And there are things I did in high school. I can't repeat them today. There are things I did in campus. I can't repeat them. So there are things I cannot do right now. For instance, if I had played football before, and I have now I'm 27 years old. Football has not paid me. I haven't got into any club, local league, or the Harambee Stars. Why should I waste my time playing football? I should look at alternative. So you have been vying to be an MP for your constituency since I was not born. Then today, when I want to become the area MP in 2027, you are my opponent. So you are there in 1997. You are there in 1992. What are you doing in 2027? What are you doing at ballot in 2027? I'm going to find your name there. And me, I've come with the fresh ideas. I've come with the adaptability of the new laws of the country. I've come with the international relations. I've come with the expertise, with the new technology advancement, the innovation, the statistics. So, and what are you going to debate? How are you going to make laws that are going to relate with the generation of this time? How are you going to make laws that are relating to the digital media, technology, advancement, intellectual property? So you need someone who is up to date. You need someone who is current with the current generation. That is when we can get it right. But this issue of someone divide the MP in 1992, he was never elected to date. People have rejected him all along today. Now you want to convince that he wanted to be elected in 2027 with the new generation. It can't happen. So as a people, it's always good, and I still maintain my principality. A change is as a good as a rest.
Okay. Thank you so much, good. Brother Benson, thank you also for finding time to join and to host. Allow me to acknowledge the presence of our good friend Gypsy Kona. Naona anasema ama late kama. Sometimes Gypsy Kona mambo inakuwa mingi mpaka unashindwa utafanyaje. Allow me to also recognize Mercy Lasti watching from Facebook. And who else? Peter. Allow me to say hi to Peter Mukangu. Thank you so much for also finding time to join and for giving us your take. Judith Karitha, thank you so much as well for finding time to join us this evening. Brenda Obedi, asante sana pia kwa wakati wako na kujiunga na sisi. Really appreciate. And to everyone else who joined us, I want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you. And just like the conversation that I just found, whatever Miguda was speaking about, I also saw that member of parliament called Ali. And I was surprised that he was a minister during the reigns of Idi Amin. Up to date, as from 1980 something, he's been in government ever since. And the question you're asking is, does it mean that political positions are meant for certain individuals? Even at the time when they're almost dying, they do not, that member of parliament cannot even speak, he can't walk, he can't move around, and he's still fighting for that position. How I wish, even if it is a must that his family has to take that position, then he better give it to his son or to the grandson, because I wonder what really leadership is all about. If someone at that age and with that kind of not really give it a chance to someone else, then to me it is it's something that I cannot really understand on my side. But well, it is happening in Uganda. I don't know what it means having such kind of a leader representing constituents. I don't know how even now he'll speak on matters concerning the constituents. I don't know. It is tough. But well, it also depends with the environment where such kind of things are happening. One thing that I thank God and we pray about and we say a big thank you to God is that as much as we talk about democracy, as much as we talk about good governance and all those things, we appreciate the fact that we have some liberty, we have some freedoms in Kenya. And again, the level of exposure in Kenya in terms of leadership has really helped the people of Kenya. And I like the fact that Kenyans can stand up and, give you reasons why they cannot allow certain things. How I wish that Ugandans would also stand up and, fight for themselves, fight for their rights, fight for the people around them. Because I don't think there's any justification of someone in that kind of, state going still to vie for position, and yet he himself cannot speak. We're not actually talking about he has or hold or what. We're talking about his health. The health of that member of parliament is not in good state. And we have to, if really we had what we call a family that really cares about him, of which I know they care about him, but sometimes I don't understand some. Let me leave it at that point. Allow me to also give my point or my take on matters of young politicians, the likes of Sifuna, the likes of Babu, among others, coming up to try challenge the government in power. I can say that it is a good move, yes, but it is not something easy. It requires a lot of patriotism. It requires a lot of political strength. It requires a lot of money. There are so many things which are involved, and for that to go, for them to have success in that, then there is really more or much in terms of them coming together and discussing serious issues which are really affecting the people of Kenya. They have to unite and come up with an agenda of bringing back the lost glory that Kenya's Kenyans are yearning for. They have to sit down and convince the people of Kenya that they are going to come up with, ways of managing the leadership gap that is currently Kenyans are really yearning for as well. We've had leaders, yes, in Kenya, but we've had leaders who are greedy. We've had leaders who are not really patriotic enough. We have leaders who really just speak or care about their own family or personal affairs, neglecting the views of the people, neglecting the wishes of the people, neglecting the voices of the people. And for that reason, we've had a restless citizens who feel that they are not involved in any activity that is happening in the country. We have a citizen that feel that the people in leadership do not care about their entire well-being. They feel that they are not being consulted. And, if the Kenya Moja, as they call themselves, can come up with some strategic ways of solving such kind of matters, then maybe there's a probability of them getting a chance of being listened to by the people of Kenya. Something else is that I also noted, I don't know whether they're going to come as a third force, because so far we have two active political position, that is the government side. We've also have the opposition side. And so it is upon them then to decide whether they're coming as a third force position, because if they are able to deliver the of Kenya from governance up to governance, then they cannot make it themselves. They have to call for unity. Allow me to read some comment here. If one is a dual citizen in Uganda, Kenya, or Kenya, and be allowed to vote with countries, maybe Miguda would explain. Miguda, maybe you'll explain that. Yeah, but on the matter of young leaders coming up, I think it's a good move, because it's, again, the people of Kenya an opportunity to think about others who have not been seen quite long in the political Kenya Moja, Kenya politicians. And then something else is the issue of Rigathi Gachagua and Raila Odinga. I think they've had their beefs politically, where we've seen close allies of Raila, of course, coming out to criticize the move by Rigathi Gachagua and his call for unity of a section of Kenya where he has been accused of being tribal. But to me, standing of tribal, I think that that we have in Kenya, majority of them are what we call tribal, because even if you look at the parties they came with, these are parties that are dominated in certain regions. Quite a number of things they've done as a people from one section. That is the fact that there is still need of good governance and unity among the people of Kenya. I saw Gladys Wanga telling the former DP that they should wait to call the return of Baba. That is Raila. That she did say that Raila was out of the country, and for that reason, he was simply trying to tell Rigathi not to fail, the former DP not to fail so much special in the field of politics, because he is yet to see what will happen when Raila will be back. Those are comments which are all geared towards swaying the emotions of the people of Kenya so that they can decide side to support a specific political party. Yeah, so I think those are my comment. Unless Miguda, there's another question that you guys talked about that I've not given my view on. Miguda.
Okay, let me respond to the question asked above. Then I'll tell you what you respond about. Yeah, to our good friend Gypsy Corner, if one is a dual citizen in Uganda, Kenya, or Kenya, Tanzania, will you be allowed to vote in both countries? Yeah, sure. You will be allowed to vote in both countries if you are a registered voter into both countries. Yeah, when you are a dual citizen in Tanzania and Uganda and Kenya, you have a Kenyan national ID, Tanzania national ID, then you are registered as a voter in Kenya by the electoral body, vis-a-vis registered in Tanzania as by electoral body. You can vote in both countries. You enjoy that dualism and you enjoy those privileges of like one voting. My neighbors do vote in Tanzania and also in Kenya, and they are vocal. They influence the election of the local MCA where sometimes I'm coming from. But also you find out they like the previous election, they voted for Magufuli when Magufuli was around, but also they voted for Uhuru Kenyatta in that case. So it is very, 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 very okay to do so. Makubura, maybe you can respond to the question they asked about handkerchief. That is it true that handkerchief can fight corruption, because they were given some handkerchief to take to Legico house, so that if they have that handkerchief, it's gonna reduce corruption in the country. Is it true?
What's the handkerchief for?
When they were in charge,
Sijaona hiyo.
when they were in charge, they were given handkerchiefs. The members of parliament, and they were told that handkerchief will fight corruption. They should take it to parliament, to judiciary, to executive.
The members of parliament who went to Embakasi, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sure.
I think those are just dramas. We've been in Kenya. We've seen water being sold at a very high price. In the name of that water is going to heal, is going to, I don't know, do what. We've seen people, selling handkerchiefs. Those are kind of things that we've seen. Those, to me, those are, religious conmanship. That how I wish the people of Kenya would wake up and not accept such kind of activities. I don't know how to even say that. Anyway, it also depends with the faith and the beliefs of people. But one thing I know and I believe, we've seen what we call religious I don't even know how to put it. We've seen people exploiting Kenyans in the name of religion. And that is why even the other day you saw there are still people dying in Kilifi. And the same organization that killed more than 100 people in Shakahola is still going on. And in the name of, lying to people in the name of God is still continuing. So you never really get to know why some people are trying to brainwash the people of Kenya and, giving them sasa handkerchiefs, sasa surely. Anyway. Miguda, maybe uniambie kitu ingine, hiyo nimeshindwa kuongea about. I don't know how handkerchief would solve any issues in the Republic of Kenya. But those are religious beliefs. I cannot really speak much about it because I do not understand those handkerchiefs for what. I don't know how it's going to help the people of Kenya or leaders. Anyway, any other thing that you talked about that I can give my comments on?
On the same question about the president having a power to dissolve parliament, why can't he dissolve parliament also? Why can't MPs impeach him instead of all those dramas?
The president, he might be having the powers, but doing that would be not an easy thing. It's like it's like a coup or something, because there is a group of members of parliament who cannot be re-elected, and if you want to go that way, then they're the first people who are going to start opposing you. They are the first people who are going to come up and start even your impeachment even before you finish that dissolution. So it's a tricky affair that really needs. I don't think it can happen at this particular point with the kind of leadership we have. The level of greed they have, they know very well that they cannot make it back, and they wouldn't risk either impeaching or they wouldn't risk. I mean, the president would not risk dissolving the parliament because it would be a catastrophic move, because he might suffer politically, and I don't think it's something that he can. Yeah, we've got problems to do with corruption and all those kind of things, but I can't say we are used to this. But the only thing I can say is that we, the people of Kenya, have the opportunity to change the thinking. We have we only have the way. I mean, we have the decision as a people to solve the problems by, of course, doing what you call making the right choosing the right leaders who really understand what leadership is all about. Yes, Miguda. Any other thing before we finish?
I think we have exhausted everything.
Okay, thank you so much. I do not actually have power, so I'm seeing my machine is almost going off, so I don't think we'll really go for long. Tunaomba msamaha kwa wenzetu ambao wanatutazama. Gypsy Corner anauliza they have revived Shakahola. Yes, it was revived, and the other day they were saying almost 7 people were buried, more than 10, I think so, just in the same place in Kilifi. So it is still going on, and it is being said that the guy, as much as he's in jail, is still operating, is still active. I think, yeah. So we'll talk about. I'll give you that information more tomorrow, Gypsy Corner. Allow us to just finish for now because my machine is almost going off. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who joined us today and for giving us your take. May God bless you and have a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon from wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow.